Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me today, where we're talking about everything that you really need to know about VA loans, some of the myths, some of the amazing features that we have, and how you can utilize this amazing benefit that is only available to the members of the military for potential investment in real estate and growing your wealth through real estate. So let me share my screen and we're going to get started. So just a little bit about me. My name is Olga St Pierre, and I have been a member of military family for the last 22 years. My husband recently retired after a 28-year career in the military, and I'm very passionate about helping active duty soldiers, their families, and veterans to truly utilize and take advantage of the amazing benefits that are only available to the military members. I'm a military lifestyle concierge. I'm a relocation specialist, and I do hold a real estate license that helps me relocate our families across the United States. So we've been licensed for the last 15 years, and our team mission is to help everyone's dream of becoming a homeowner come true. And we stay along with you, this fun journey that we call life, and help you kind of move along different journeys with our advice and information and resources. We do have a state-of-the-art concierge service. Just think of us as your yellow pages. You need recommendations for contractors, for professionals. Think of this as kind of like A to Z. We are your virtual yellow pages, and this service is absolutely free of charge to you. So let's jump in and talk about why VA loans. Why are they so amazing? The VA loans are guaranteed by the VA administration. And the goal is that the government wants our military to be homeowners. I think it's one of the most amazing things that you can do in the United States, become a homeowner and own your own piece of heaven. And of course, also is potentially an opportunity to grow your wealth through real estate, but more on that in just a little bit later. The terms and the benefits that are available through the VA loan program are only available to the military, and they're truly amazing. So one of the things that I want you to take away after today's workshop is that it's extremely important to work with a lender who doesn't just know the basics of the program, which most of them do, but actually truly knows all the ins and outs of the program, because there's so many other benefits that not everybody is aware of. So if you're looking to use the VA loan benefit to help you buy your home, and you need a recommendation for a really good expert lender, please let me know, and I'm happy to put you in touch depending on your location and your state. So why are we focused on choosing a VA loan? There's tons of benefits, so let me run through them and knock them out so that way you can see how amazing this program is. Number one, most VA loans have lower interest rates than some of the traditional programs around. There's no down payment requirement. And that is, I think, the number one amazing thing about this program. You can honestly, if you structure the loan properly with some creative thinking, you can truly buy a home with very little money out of your pocket. So no down payment requirement, lower closing costs. There's no prepayment penalty if you want to pay off your VA home loan early. A seller can help you with some of your closing costs, which are part of the process. And this is where you can, a lot of the times, be able to move into a home with very little money out of your pocket. There's no monthly mortgage insurance, which is huge. Typically, mortgage insurance is in place if you're putting less than 20% down. There are fixed and adjustable rates and a funding fee, which is what goes towards the VA administration for the insurance, is waived if you as a veteran are receiving disability payments. Even if you have any kind of rating, any kind of percentage, if you do have that, it is going to be waived. This only is applicable for someone who is a veteran and out of the service. If you're still active duty, you will still have funding fees that we're going to be mindful about and including in our closing cost estimates. So what are we going to be able to buy using our VA loan? all of these things. Look at this list. This truly is amazing. It's not just your single family home or townhouse or condo. You can actually use a construction loan to build your own home, so new construction. You can purchase and renovate home at the same time. I think it's one of the big misconceptions where a lot of the times people think that the home needs to be in good condition to be able to use a VA loan. That is not 100% true, because there are options on what you can do. And you are able to borrow the funds that you need for the renovation and have it all in one loan, all in your VA loan. You can refinance an existing non-VA loan into VA loan if it makes sense. You can refinance existing loan to pull cash out if you have equity in your home. Again, it depends on the rates and it depends on the circumstances. You can refinance an existing VA loan to be able to reduce the interest rate, which is what a lot of people have done in 2021 and 22. You are able to actually buy a mobile home to permanently install on the lot already owned, or you can buy a mobile home and a lot as well. So just remember, a mobile home has to be converted into a actual real estate, because mobile home itself, if it's not attached, is not considered to be real estate. It's like a car that has a title. And another cool thing that you can do with VA loans is obtain energy efficient improvements on the property, such as solar. So what do we need? We really need a couple of things just to keep in mind. We need a Form DD-214 to kind of figure things out and identify what is the condition of the discharge. And just remember, the one thing that a lot of people forget is that the VA loan is to help you purchase your primary residence, which means that you have to live in it and occupy it. And you have to be able to do that within 60 days from buying your home, actually closing on it and getting a key, okay? So this is a great table that you can take a look at in, pause this video and take a look at it. If you're not sure if you're going to qualify, there are some things that we need to look at. Not everybody qualifies. So there's this really helpful table that I have here for you that goes into on the second page. And one of the easiest things that I can tell you is really what to do is, instead of you trying to figure this out on your own, let's talk to a really good lender, because he can tell you this in a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, which is why it's important to have a really good, knowledgeable VA lender on your side to help you navigate and get all your questions answered. So the easiest way is to figure out how you qualify is to obtain your certificate of eligibility. If you don't have one, you can either go on eBenefits website and get that certificate of eligibility for you. Or another way to do that is to have the lender pull it through their VA portal. I found that to be the easiest way. The only thing they really need is your name, your social security number, and your date of birth. They safely and securely input that information, and then in a matter of minutes, the information populates. Either they generate the actual certificate of eligibility for you, or there is some other information that maybe there's some work that needs to be done to kind of figure things out. So that is what I usually recommend, is if you want the information quickly to kind of get things moving in the right direction, figure out what it is that you'll qualify for, then let's do it by partnering with a really good lender and having them do it through their portal. I've seen them do it. It's really is that quick and easy, and I think that really is the best way. So if you're looking to do it with a snail mail, you can definitely do that. You can print out a form and then put it in the mail, and then you hopefully will get that information in about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the season. Next up, let's talk about some of the myths of VA loans. I see and I hear it all the time because there's a ton of misinformation that is out there. So number one, you can assume a VA loan. So let's say, for example, right now where the rates are higher and we're looking at somewhere between 6 and 7%. And there's another veteran that is selling their home that they refinanced back in 2021, and their current rate is an amazing 2.5%. So you, as another qualified military member, can assume that loan and take on that loan. Let's say it's $200,000 at 2.5%. That also means that if that's not enough to purchase that property, you're going to have to get a second loan at a current rate. But if you look at a bigger picture, you are able to reduce your monthly payment because a part of your overall loan package is going to have a lower interest rate. So is this an option for everybody? No. Is it an option available there just in case? Absolutely. And do we look at it as a part of our checklist to see how can this be utilized? Absolutely. So that's an option. Number two, VA renovation loan. You can absolutely borrow money to renovate a home. If you don't have that money, you can roll in the cost of renovations into your mortgage and just have one easy payment every month. Yes, you can have more than one VA loan at the same time. And the way that works is we take a portion of your certificate of eligibility allotment amount, because you don't have to use it all at once. You can only use what you think you need. And then if you have some extra, you can get another VA loan. And then we can talk about the strategy, and the situation is going to be different for every one of you. Spouses can also qualify and obtain a VA loan. And if you are not married and you want to purchase a home with someone who is not a VA partner, you can still do that. There are some rules that apply, and there's going to be some money that needs to be put down. However, let's talk about it and let's see what your circumstances are and how do we make it happen and make it work for your particular situation. There are quite a few advantages, as I already mentioned to you, in using VA loan. I just wanted to show you visually what that looks like. So for example, if you're purchasing a home that is $450,000, you're going to have zero money down payment out of your pocket. And that means in most cases, you're going to be saving between $20,000 and $50,000 if you are thinking about putting less than 20%. If you were thinking that you had to put 20% down, look how much money you're going to keep in your pocket. About $90,000 that you can use on something else, which is a huge advantage. Lower interest rate and also mortgage savings per month, same thing. A lower interest rate is going to help you save quite a bit of money. If you're purchasing a home that's $350,000, here's your savings about 1% reduction or 0.5% reduction. You're talking about quite a few 5-digit numbers. And mortgage insurance is something that you are saving until you get that to that equity of 80% that I already mentioned to you. You're going to be saving, $300 to $400 a month on a $450,000 house. So the savings are huge all around for this great product. Now, we have relaxed credit requirements. I do get a lot of these questions, say, Olga, my credit score is not so good, and I don't know what that means and how it's going to affect me. Here's what I can tell you, that VA administration works really hard to help our military members to buy a home. And that what they do is they say, listen, let's look at the bigger picture for our soldiers. Let's see how we can get them to qualify, not just based on the credit, but on everything else, the employment, the financial situation, overall financial health is how I would put it. So keep that in mind, that there's more relaxed credit requirements. There are still some in place, but the lenders are going to say, okay, we understand, but let's see what we can do. Okay. Limited closing costs. The VA administration wants to make sure that the soldier is not paying a lot. So there's actually rules and requirements of what they can pay. And remember, if we structure your offer and your package in the right way, a big part of those closing costs can be covered by the sellers on your behalf. And it all depends on the market. Okay. Now, the last point that I want to share with you is the fact that the VA home loan benefit is a lifetime benefit. What I have heard a lot of people say to me was like, well, we already used our benefit, we bought our home, and then we sold it. Well, guess what? If you sold your home, that means that your entitlement has been reinstated and you can use it again and again and again and again. There's no limitation on how many times you can use it. You can use it multiple times. So please keep that in mind, that if you've used it once, there's a really good opportunity for you that you can probably use it again. Let's check your certificate of eligibility, and then we will definitely know for sure. All right. Part 2 of this workshop is where we're talking about how can you use your VA home loan benefit to build wealth through real estate. So this is 2 parts. So the first part, I'm going to take and make an assumption that some of you are active duty and you are on a 3-year rotation to different locations, right? You're going from one base to the other, and this is what you're doing. every 2 to 3 years, depending on your tour of duty, depending on your MOS. Here's where you're going, here's what you're doing. So I'm making some very generic assumptions, but I want you to get an overall idea of what we are trying to do and how are we leveraging the benefits of owning a home, owning a real estate, and then trying to take advantage of those opportunities every 3 years. So the first one is, let's say that your entitlement is 800,000, and for the years 1 and 2, when you start your military career, you're going to be on base housing, and then you're going to be moving every 3 years. So the first home, let's say you're purchasing in 2023, and we're using easy numbers. So I want you to look at that, and then you can come back in your workbook and do the math if your numbers are different. So you're purchasing your home for 300,000. You're using about 37.5% of your total entitlement. Remember, you don't have to use it all if it doesn't make sense with your numbers. Historical average real estate growth is roughly 4%. This is what it has been since this information was tracked. Now, as you know, in the last 2 to 3 years, this real estate growth has seen some really amazing numbers going to 10 and 20 and 25%. So we're going to be really conservative, and we're just going to stick with this general number that we have seen as an average over a larger number of years. So 4% means that in the year 2026, which is 3 years from the year you bought it, your home is now going to be worth $337,000. Okay, that means that your equity now is $45,000. How do we figure that out? We figure that the growth is going to be over 3 years. And we also every month are paying down our principal, right? We're putting a little bit of money. Majority is going to be interest rate, right? In the beginning of every mortgage. And then we're putting a little bit of money down towards your principal. Okay, so that number can be bigger if you decide that you want to put some extra money, make extra payments towards your principal, which is kind of like something else that we can talk about another time as some of the strategies that I have up my sleeve. Okay, next up, second house we're going to purchase 3 years later after we get to our new destination. Now the purchase price is $400,000. We're going to use 50% of our total entitlement, which is almost like the other half, although overall it's going to be 87.5%. Using the same historic average real estate growth percentage of 4%, we're going to assume that our house is now worth $449,000 in year 2029. Our equity is $50,000, and we also paid back our principal of $13,000. And here's what this looks like. When we're going to sell our house 6 years from now, right? We bought it in 23, we sold it in 29. Here's how we are using the equity in our home as well as the growth of our real estate over every year. 4% is 80,000. Principal that we paid back in the last 6 years is 20,000. Mortgage that we paid off that was outstanding was 277,000, which means that the balance is roughly $103,000. Okay, so then what happens is the second house that we purchased in 2026, we're going to sell it again 6 years later. So I want you to see the pattern. We're going to skip one PCS move. We're going to sell the house 6 years later, okay? So this is our purchase price. We used, again, 50% of our total entitlement, because remember, once you sell a home, that portion of your entitlement gets reinstated and you can use it again, right? Historical growth rate is here, which means that we're selling our home in 2032 for $450,000. And these are what the numbers look like in terms of our equity and how much of a paid principal that we had. And we have another third house that we're going to purchase in 2029. And we're kind of like rinse and repeat is the process. And this is what I want you to see. These are the things that we're going to repeat throughout our career, depending on how long you plan on staying in the military and making your moves every 3 years. So these are the assumptions that we have. Okay. Now, let's take this on a different direction and say, okay, so if I am not in the PCS mode, what if I'm staying in one location? What if I want to do something else? How can I use my VA home loan benefit knowing that the VA home loans are strictly available for you to buy your primary residence. I have some strategies here for you. Let's check them out. The first one is I want you to think a little bit bigger and say to yourself, you know what? As long as it makes sense financially, right? So that's the number one rule, is that if you are thinking, you're like, well, you know what? It's just me, or maybe it's me and my girlfriend, boyfriend, or another loved one. I just need something small, a condo, 2 bedrooms, and so forth. I want you to think a little bit bigger and say, you know what? If we buy space that has more bedrooms than what we need, we could potentially lease the other rooms and get that income going so that we can reduce the expenses that we have on this house. We can reduce our utility expenses. We can reduce our mortgage expenses. So that's number one. Another option, which I think is the best one on how you can maximize using your VA home loan benefit and start on the path of real estate investment and growing your wealth for real estate, is to buy a multi-unit building. You can buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex, as long as you use one unit as your primary residence. That means you automatically now have another 1 or 2 or 3 units that you can rent out, and you only have one mortgage on your home. To me, this is the best of every world out there. 100%, because I can guarantee you that if you do it right and you get really good tenants that are solid, that paying you every month, your mortgage is going to be paid by other people. You get to live mortgage free in your own unit. Okay. Now, what you can also do is a year or more down the line, you can move out of your unit, go ahead and rent it out, and now you have a fully rentable investment property. And then we talk about the next strategy that we can do with you going out and buying another primary residence for yourself, because now you need a place to live. Okay. So going back to the house, you can go ahead and finish the basement and rent it out if you want. You can rent out your garage, covered parking, parking space, your backyard, dog park, pet rent, storage space. Think of the things that people may have in demand, and you can put it up on Airbnb for short-term rental, depending on your area. For example, I know clients that live very close to New York City, and in the town where they live, the parking is absolutely impossible to find. Street parking, very hard to find, which means that if you have a unit that comes with an assigned parking space, or you have your own spot in the garage, it's gold. Well, these clients didn't have a car and they didn't really need that spot. So what did they do? They rented out their garage spot to someone else who truly needed it and wanted it for $200 a month. And that is some additional income that they were grabbing. So think about where you are and how you can utilize the extra space that you have. Who else could find this to be beneficial to them? So let's keep going. So the next thing that I want to share with you is why real estate. I know we didn't kind of quite cover, but why do I feel so passionate about real estate? Well, the first statistics that I want to share with you is the first line on the slide. 90% of today's millionaires have gotten to this point through real estate. 90%. That is an absolutely mind-boggling statistics that when I saw it, I was absolutely floored. And I said, this is the most amazing piece of information that I have ever gotten. Probably my top 5 or top 10. 90%. That's huge. So that means that if some other people who are way smarter than me, because that's where I am heading in that direction, are in that category, then we should definitely listen to them and wonder why real estate. Well, real estate is so much more. If you compare real estate and the stock market, here's what you see. Real estate is a big, slow-moving elephant, is what I call it. It has the peaks and valleys, absolutely. We've seen this in the real estate market, yet it moves very slowly. It reacts slowly to changes in the economy, and it's slow and steady with the historic appreciation. Remember, I mentioned to you earlier 4%? Well, that's exactly what it is. It slowly appreciates 4 to 6% per year with its own peaks and valleys, of course. It's not going to go up all the time. It's going to do a little bit of this and that. Now, when you own an investment property, there's so many benefits. Number one, improvements are going to help with home appreciation. Even if you do as little as paint, it's going to increase the value of your home. You have tenants that are living in that house that are going to be paying down your debt, right? Because they're paying you rent. And then from that rent, you're going to pay your mortgage down. You have tax advantages to own a property. 100%. The government wants you and gives you incentives and perks for you to rent out and have housing available for other people. And the next one, of course, is passive income, which means that you have tenants in your home that are paying you on a regular basis when you can go do something else, yet you're going to have this income that is coming in month after month. So I'll give you a really cool example. So let's say that I gave you $30,000 to invest over the next 10 years. And my suggestion to you is let's invest it in real estate, or you can put that money in the stocks. So S&P 500, which is Standard & Poor's 500, the top stocks, the biggest companies on that are being traded in the US market. So if you were to do it with $30,000 for stocks, okay, this is what you're going to earn, right? Well, let me do this. If you were to invest it over 10 years, you would probably come out somewhere around an extra $18,000. You know why? Because stock market is very volatile. It jumps around. If it didn't have coffee in the morning, it's going to be bouncing back and forth every trading day, Monday through Friday, except for holidays, until the closing bell, because that's what stock market does. They respond to every news piece of information, something else that hits, and investors go back and forth all the time. Okay, so there's your stock market. Now, with real estate, here's the power of investing in real estate and having the slow-moving giant working so hard on your behalf, because you have your instant equity when you do it improvements, because you have that cash flow when the tenants are paying you their rent, you have your appreciation every year, almost every year, unless it's a valley, 4 to 6%, and you have your tax advantages. All of these things are working for you. And of course, you're paying down your mortgage. So you can see, I have like an example here for you. And guess what? At the end of 10 years, if you were to invest that it's the same $30,000 as a real estate investor, you would have $190,000 in your pocket. Can you imagine what you can do with that money? You can reinvest it again. You can purchase something else. You can go on vacation, whatever it is that makes sense to you and makes you happy and helps you plan for your future. This is why I truly believe that in real estate investing is so much more feasible and realistic to help you plan for your kids' college, or to help you plan for your own retirement and your own golden years. It is so much more effective than the stock market. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Let's stay in touch, and please let me know how I can help you. I am very passionate about education and helping our military members and their families to stay informed, to help them become homeowners and investors, and help them plan for their future. We have a ton of other workshops that I also teach on different topics, so you can check out our bit.ly link with Live with Olga to see what are some of the other workshops that are coming up. If you are interested in helping you planning for retirement, if you are in that focus line, then please check out my Olga St Pierre channel. It's all about living well in retirement and planning for it. And then my channel At Home with Olga is all my webinar recordings and other helpful videos to help you live well where you are right now. I have a ton of military resources that are also available to you absolutely free of charge. So please head over to the Military Resource Library and check out and see what some of the things that are available there. And of course, I'm always available via a text, a phone call, or email away. And most of the time on social media, I do hang out on Facebook if you want to find me there and connect with me. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope that you enjoyed this information, and please let me know which of these tips have really resonated with you that you think you may want to use and implement in your own journey. And let me know how I can help you and assist you, and we'll see you soon.